are going to get started. After this, I get to go bake and decorate a birthday cake as fast as humanly possible. I'm relying on my old baking skills to get me through. So we'll see. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for Pilates Sculpt. My name is Audra, and as always, I want you to listen to your body, modify things that don't feel right, don't do anything that's contraindicated. Breaks are great. Today we're going to use a ball and some weights. If you're at home and you don't have a ball, you can fold a pillow. If you don't have weights, you can use literally anything. Canned goods, wine bottles, water gallon jugs. Let's do it. We're going to start standing. And I just want you to start kind of checking in with your body a little bit. Start to notice where the weight distribution on your feet is. In an ideal world, it's like just ever so slightly forward. So you've got relatively even pressure between your big toe mound and your heels. And then notice what your knees are doing. Are they hyperextended, or are they bent? Or are they just like in a neutral right above your ankle? And then kind of the same with your hips, right? Are they kind of bent really far? Are they tucked, or are they just in that like lovely neutral stance? Now, everybody's posture is going to be a little different, and that's fine. We're just seeing if we can find your best posture. And then same with the ribs. Are they lifted? Are they down? Or are they just sitting on top of the pelvis like a lid to a soup pot? And then where are your shoulders? Are they forward? Are they retracted? Or are they just set? And then where are your ears? Are they forward? Are they back? Are they neutral? Now, one hand on your back, one hand on your low abs. Without changing the shape of your spine, on your exhale, we're just going to draw your low abs away from your hand. That's it. Yeah. Good. And then relax. And again. Now, make sure you can do this without elevating your shoulders and sternum. So it's an in, not a shift. Yeah. So almost imagine that I have a rubber band and I'm like threatening to like pop you in the low abs, and you just want to tighten up preemptively. Right? Yeah. Good. Two more. I wouldn't actually do that, just so you guys know. I'm never going to bring a rubber band and just be like, okay, time to test this out. But last one, hold. Good. Now, as you hold a little engagement, see where you're breathing. Good. Good. So only keep about 5 to 10% of that engagement on your inhale. Allow the front to move. And then deepen your engagement. Good. One more. Let your arms dangle. Nod your chin. We're going to curl forward, rounding our back, letting everything kind of relax on the way down. And then notice where your weight is. Is it really far forward? Did you slide your hips back? See if you can shift your weight forward and back a couple times, and then bend one knee, keeping that heel down. Switch legs. Back and forth a couple times. Last one. Now, make sure your weight is as evenly distributed between the front and back of your feet as possible. And we're just going to take our hands, interlace them, and bring them to one side. And then other side. So you're getting a little bit of movement through your spine, but this should also change your hamstring stretch a little bit. Good. Last one. Each direction. Hands to the ground as close as you can get. If you're not able to bring your hands to the ground, maybe your fingertips, maybe on your shins. And we're just going to bend our knees and then straighten our legs. So try to keep your heels down here. If they have to come up, it's not the end of the world, but don't try to force them up. Right? Let your ankles move. And so we're starting to kind of lower our hips as much as possible. See where your heels have to go. And if they have to peel up, that's okay. We're just trying to get as like bum down as possible. Good. Last two. See if you can let those heels stay down a little bit longer, a little bit longer, a little bit longer. Maybe they still have to peel up. No problem. Last one. And come all the way down onto all fours. Now, if being on your hands is not comfortable, you can always be on your forearms. You can also always grab your weights. We're going to put a little bit more pressure on our pointer finger, externally rotate through your upper arm bones. Lift your ribs to the sky a little bit without over rounding. We just want our neutral spine. Slide one foot out. Good. And then slide it back in. We're just noticing what our body wants to do from side to side. Now, if versions of bird dog are really hard for you, you can either keep your foot on the floor, or in order to get a little bit more muscle recruitment, you can use a wall or a couch, right? So you will push into a surface that's going to provide a little bit of feedback. It's closing your kinetic chain as opposed to having it open. And that just changes the way our muscles respond. Now, as you slide that foot out, let that heel press away. Try to find your glute a little bit more. So we're coming into ankle dorsiflexion here, which is flexion, right? Plantar flexion, the other way, is the point. So we want to go the opposite of a point. Good. Now, on your exhale, you're going to push your foot away from you, hovering it, lengthening through your ears. Hold. Good. And just make sure you're not feeling this in your back. Abs are gently drawing up, pushing down and out into that stabilizing side. Now slowly let the other leg come in. Other side, push it out, hold. See what's doing the work. See how your body responded, right? Sometimes we really shift. Sometimes there's kind of like a stutter almost. Then we're going to go back and forth a couple more times. So why is this position important, especially here? Well, I'll tell you if you're wondering. That hip strength, especially what can help with that lateral movement, is really important for balance. Good. Now, if you're feeling it, you can slide the opposite arm away. And then opposite arm away. And make sure you hold it out for a second, making sure that you're not lifting past parallel unless you have such amazing hip flexor extension that you can do it without your back responding. So think of pushing towards opposite walls rather than lifting towards the sky. Now, try the same side, arm and leg. Ha-ha! It's way harder, huh? And then same side, arm and leg. Notice how your body's strategy has to change a little bit, right? Couple more. Same. Once again, you can still be pushing into the wall, right? Good. We got one more each side. Good. Trying to keep both hip bones facing the ground. So it's easy to kind of open the hip, but we want them facing the ground. I know, because now we're going to keep your hands on the ground, extend one leg out. We're going to open our hips and then point towards the ground. So think about this side externally rotating, internally rotating. And then if you want, you can keep that arm extended. So rotate, yep. Rotate. Two more. Good, yeah. I know, it's challenging. And other side. So first start by pushing. Rotate and rotate. Rotate and rotate. And then if you're ready, keep that rib and hip rotating together as much as you can. How you guys feeling? So good? Is one side more exciting than the other? Yeah. Good. 2 more like this. Last one. Then guess what? We get to do planks. You're welcome. So if you need to use your weights because your wrists are just done, that's fine. Just make sure that you're not here, but your knuckles are pointing down so you have a stronger position of that wrist. Good. Now, shoulder blades draw down your back. Slide 1 foot out at a time. Lifting your belly button. Good. Now, exhale, you can bring one knee underneath you. Hold. Good. And then back. Other side. Hold. Now, if that is too intense, bring it to the ground and then extend. If you want in between, right, you can keep the toe down, lift the knee. You can also always be on your knees here if a plank isn't for you today. Good. Couple more. Make sure you hold and hold. Last set. Knees down. Press yourselves into a wrist position. Rolling out your wrists. Take your hands up and over to one side. Press your hips away. And then other side. Go ahead, bring your hands close to you. Keep your toes exactly where they are. And we're going to think about rotating our armpits in. Close your ribs, push into the ground, hover your knees. Yeah. Okay, so as you're kind of here with your feet, bring them a little bit more neutral. So instead of your feet being like this, bring them like that. Yeah. Yeah. They do. Yeah. Just don't let them like flop out to the side. Yeah. 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 Better. Much better. You don't have to come up as high. Yeah. Think about the knees just barely hovering. Yeah. Good. Good. 2 more. Yeah. Yeah. And hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Extend one leg out. Good. Lift your belly button. Keep your toe down to start. Rotate that knee across your body. Hold. Inhale. Exhale. Lift the knee. Hold. Tap it down. Exhale. Lift the knee. Good. And again. 2. Last one. Other side. So extend, lift the ribs, knee across, inhale, exhale, and agreed, tap it down. Exhale, lift, and tap. 2. Last one. Knees down. Press yourselves into a rest position. Now, slide your hands behind you so you're going to touch your low back. As you breathe, I want you to inhale into your hands. And as you exhale, exhale from the front. Inhale again. Exhale from the front. One more. Hopefully you felt the tissue of your back moving on your inhale. As we hip hinge, I want you to find that same expansion to help ensure that your back is feeling stable, okay? So coming up onto your knees, we're just going to rotate our pelvis, hip hinge only as far as you can go without your back rounding. Inhale into your hands. Exhale, hinge up. Good. Let's try that again. Inhale. Exhale from the front and up. Good. Last one. Lovely. Guess what? We're coming all the way to standing. Tuck your toes under, press your hips up, and feel a nice stretch, maybe through your calves, maybe through your hamstrings, depending on what part of your body is relatively tight, and walk your hands towards your feet. Dangle out of your spine, out of your hips. Bend your knees, roll all the way up. All right. So real quickly, one reason getting our glutes really strong is when we're doing something like walking, if we start to lose our balance one way or the other, guess what has to kick on to stabilize us? Our hip musculature, okay? So tap the toe down. I want you to think about pushing into the ground, lift your arch a little, inner thigh and glute, okay? Squeeze your butt forward slightly. Good. Try to stack your ears and then float one foot up. Good. And it can be wherever you need it to be. Good. And feel how maybe your ankle moves. That's an ankle strategy to stay upright. That's fine. That's great. Okay. And then let's move our arms. We're going to take them up and around. Maybe we take them to one side. Maybe we take them to the other. Feel how your whole body has to respond to where that stimulus is coming from, right? Good. Couple more. Yeah. Whatever feels exciting. Good. Let's do that other side. So think about pushing down into that floor, lifting your arch a little, trying not to curl your toes. This is my side that wants to do the claw. Inner thigh, glute, and just see what your body wants to do, right? And once you feel pretty stable, I'm gonna just move our arms around. If you want a real challenge, bring your arms forward, close your eyes. Oh, yeah, exactly, you know? So feel free to keep moving those arms. We're just seeing what our body says when there's more weight on one side, more weight on the other. Of course, if you need to tap your toe down, it's fine. Just a couple more. Good. Last one. Good. Nice. All right. So go ahead. Kick one foot. You're still going to keep this knee slightly bent here because we're going to try to find hip extension before knee extension, all right? So bring your hands to your hips or in front of you. Think about those ribs gently drawing towards your belly button. We're sliding our tail feathers back. Hold. Only go to as far down as you can without your back rounding. Push down into your foot. Hopefully you just felt your whole leg kick on a little bit. Keep that knee bent, you guys. Keep it bent. Push from the back. Now, find that glute, bring it forward. Your knee will also move forward a little, that's okay. As long as it feels all right on your knee, yeah? And then hip hinge, how's that feeling? Great, amazing, too easy? You guys are not informing me how it's feeling. Is it feeling all right? Bend your knee more. Yeah, yeah, now stick your butt out. Slowly, hold there. Now bend your knee even more instead of leaning forward more. We're trying to load that glute. Keep it bent. Now squeeze your butt forward. Yeah, good. Now if this is too easy, float your leg up. We hip hinge. And we hold. And then we bring it up. So our glute, its eccentric job is to slow down hip flexion. So when we come forward, if we just bend forward, we're not actually letting the glute work as much as it needs to. That's why we are resisting on the way down, and we are holding it in a lengthened position, loaded. And then we make it work concentrically. Honestly, that concentric contraction, it's important, but it also is what requires the least amount of effort, right? So if you want more challenge, keep that foot elevated, hold one weight at your chest, and we hold, and we hold, and we hold, and then slowly bring it up. Good. Trying to keep your back flat, sits bones widening. 3, 2, 1. If your foot is starting to cramp, bring your toe down slightly without putting weight on it, because you'll have just a wider base of support, so your nervous system feels safer. Last 2. If your shoulders round or your head drops, keep them in line. Good. Last one like this. Keep that knee bent. It's forcing more work on the glute. If the leg is straight, it is hamstring. Good. And then up. Good. Now, slide your hips down and back. Good. And we tap that toe out. And then fold it in. You can still have your hands on your hips or in front of you. If they are in front, instead of pushing from your shoulders, we're going to find our armpits, trying to find our serratus. Keep your forward bend. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, good. Is that more glute? Yeah. And reach. Now, if you like, push the foot away and fold. Yeah. Now, our knees love to try to move here. So I'd like you to try to use that glute to keep that knee in alignment with your second or third toe. Good. Nice. Yeah. Few more. Shoulders melted. Yeah. Sue, nod your chin for me. And then bring your head back in space. Yeah. Good. 4, 3. How's that glute feeling? Is it talking? Everybody feeling it? Yeah. Oh, we're going to hold. Now, we're going to push the foot away, tippy bird. Bring it up. Hold here. We're going to bring that knee towards us. Take your hand, reach it around your shin. See if you can push more into the ground. Lift that knee more with your hands. Try not to pop the ribs. Inhale, exhale, let go. Hold. Yep. And then tippy bird. Bring the leg up. It's okay to use assistance. Now, if you're like, oh, I feel here, externally rotate just a little bit. Close the ribs, and then. So a lot of times, our body goes, okay, got that. And then, right? Which isn't super stable. So I want your butt to squeeze forward, ribs to be stationary, just lift the leg. Good. Last one. Bring it up. Use a little assistance. Push into that bottom leg. Yeah. Good. And then bring it down. Let's do that other side. Yeah? Great. Yeah. So tap that toe, bend that knee, and we hip hinge. And we push into the foot. Keep that glute active. Try to come into hip extension before knee extension. Why is that important? Well, a lot of times we tend to hyperextend through our knees, right? And that can be for many reasons, but typically the knee is affected by the ankle and the hip. So we're always trying to find an upright position because that's where we're the most stable. So for example, if you have a forward head posture, right? Typically, like that's your body coming forward. In order to center you, typically something's going to go back, right? Or if you have tight hip flexors, right, you're going to have to steal movement from somewhere else. So a lot of times when we hyperextend our knees, it's either because our ankle doesn't have enough movement, right? Or something else up the chain is going on. And that can often mean that our glutes aren't activating as much. So we're trying to get ankle movement and glute activation with this. Of course, if that's not challenging enough, we float our leg, right? We're still trying to keep that knee relatively still. We're pushing into the ground. We're squeezing to bring it up. And if you're like, cool, this is real easy, you can always grab your weight. If you are in between this and this, use the wall, right? Get kind of close to the wall, push your foot into it, right? It's going to give you a little bit more muscle recruitment, right? So when you hip hinge, you're going to push into the floor and the wall. Do you feel that extra muscle work? Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, on this side, that's better for me, right? One side might be vastly different than the other side. That's okay. We're still trying to keep that thigh bone spiraling so it's in line with your second or third toe because that glute is really active. Good. How's everybody doing? Good. Good. We have 3. Make sure you hold it on the way down, right? We want to really allow that glute to be loaded eccentrically, right? Make it work. Last 2. I may have lied earlier when I said 3 more. Almost there. If you need to hold on to something, you can. Last 1. And then we're going to hold that bent over position. So if you're holding the weight, you're probably going to want to set it down. Right? So find that same position. Slide the foot out. Bring it in. Slide it out. Good. And then you can push the foot. And reach. Good. Few more. Shoulder blades melting down your spine. Making sure you're still breathing wide and low to help support your spine here. All right, we have 4, 3, almost there. Now, I'm going to demonstrate a variation. So with this, you can bring that leg up, hold on to something, make sure you're not arching, and then you can always tap and then lift, okay? Holding on to something is fine. Otherwise, hold, push into the ground, lift a little higher, exhale, hold for a second, bring it down, hip hinge, tippy bird. When you tippy bird, squeeze that glute, 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 because that will help that hip flexor relax a little. So if it cramped, squeeze the opposite muscle. And then glute, glute, glute. Now, a lot of times, if our hip flexor cramps, or our glute cramps, or hamstring cramps, it could be it's already kind of shortened and active, so it's really struggling to activate more, right? But we're trying to find a lengthened position here, and then we're trying to actually find its full range. Like maybe your body only wants to come to here, but you can find that activation up here. Also, if your leg is straight and your glute is active, you're lengthening the hip flexor on that side. We're almost there, I promise. Whoop. One more, one more. So find, lift. Good. Take it down. Bring it all the way up. Nice job. Kind of move your feet a little bit. All right, wide stance for me. Now, if your toes are pointed straight forward and your knees are here, right? That's actually basically internal rotation. So we're not going to force a huge rotation, but we're going to let our knees point out slightly, okay? Yep, good. Now we're spiraling our thigh bones, so our glutes are active, yeah? And we slide down. Hold here. Bring your knee or your hands onto your thighs. Now, everybody's width is going to be different. And you can, I don't want you to force anything, but I'd like you to encourage your thigh bone to externally rotate. So kind of pull your thigh backwards. Yeah. Widen your stance for me. Yeah. Good. Now, feel how that kicks on your glutes a little bit more? Now push into the ground, drag your inner thighs together here. Find that spiral if you need to. Use your hands to help. Push, lift. So we're not just resting, we're not like, oh, cool, I needed a break. If you need a break, take a break, right? But use your hands to help guide your body. Good. Two more. Nice. Last one. And then come up. Now, toes are going to point forward. Keep one leg straight. Sink into your other one. Now, maybe this is where you go. Maybe you can go lower. What I would like you to try to do is allow your knee to come forward as long as it's comfortable. Hips go down a little. Feel that inner thigh? Stretch, good. And then other side. So if we're just here, it's great. But if you can, allow your body to move a little bit more at your ankle joint, maybe a little bit more at your hip joint. You'll start increasing your range of motion, right? If you go down so far that your heel lifts, don't go as far, right? Couple more. Yeah, how are these feeling? Not that bad, huh? Yeah. And as you do this, see if you can start just letting your body go into a slightly deeper range. Don't force anything. It's just about seeing, right? Last one each side. Good. And come all the way back up. Toe ball, heel it in. All right. Toes pointing forward in line with your hip bones. Kick one heel up. Sink down into your squat. Make sure your knee is in line. Inhale. Exhale, keep that knee in line. Lift the foot. Good. Push and lift. Good. Tap. So we are guiding it eccentrically. We are challenging it isometrically. And then the easiest part, that concentric, Now, if that's still a bit much, come down, imagine you're lifting it. You don't actually have to. And then tap it down, right? So what does that mean by too much? I mean, if you can't control your knee, or you feel like you're gonna fall, let your nervous system feel safe, right? A safe nervous system is a happy nervous system, is a productive nervous system. 2 more. See how much more work this is? Yeah, last one. Good, other side. Good, sink it down. Now just kind of see where you're going. Make sure that knee isn't doing anything crazy. And up. Now, it's possible that maybe on one side, as soon as you lift, your foot tries to externally rotate, or your body drops, or you shift to the side. Not the end of the world. It's information, right? So, if you find that your information is different on one side than the other, then you can hold on, right? Find exactly what's going on. Maybe it's strength, maybe it's your nervous system not trusting where you are in space, right? So there are lots of things that can affect this, right? Maybe there's tightness, maybe there's weakness, who knows? Maybe you have had a little bit of pain in your past, and that pattern of avoiding an area has never left, right? So if you have to hold on for 1 or 2 to see how it feels, great. And then try to find the same thing without. We have 2 more. Hold that isometric contraction, right? Hold it down. We tap, we find our perfect form, and then we try to hold that perfect form. And then we lift up. Nice job, you guys. We're gonna come on to our knees. Now, I've turned my mat. You don't necessarily need to. Now, I'm just going to bring 1 foot forward, bring it down. Other side. Good. Now, if you'd like more challenge, hold it up, and down. Lift, down, up. Yeah. Yeah, right? It's really challenging. And also just start to notice what your body's strategy is, right? So for example, with me on one side, I want to lean, and then on the other side, I want to internally rotate, right? Because that's my strategy. So my goal is to find that centralized position, and then also not let the internal rotation be my strategy. Good. Now we're gonna, same thing, but put it to the side. Yeah, and then in, forward and step, and in. Good. I would just move back a little so you don't have to deal with the weights, yeah. Now, all this does is it changes the plane of motion. We're gonna do 1 more to the side. Boop. Last one. Good. Now, we're coming forward. Boom. Tuck your toe under. Now, it is like a lunge, it's very up and down. We're gonna do more of a staggered squat. So your hips come back a little. Push into this front foot as if it's the only leg working. Come all the way up. Now slowly drag yourself down. Good. Other side. Right, push. Think about this front leg being the only leg working. Drag it down, 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 down. Now you can go to the side. Right, you'll tuck, You'll lift, you'll have to rotate here. And then you rotate back and down slowly. Defy gravity every step of the way. Okay? If to the side does not work for you, don't do it. Keep going front. If front is even hard, put your hands either on your thighs and think about coming forward, or you can hold on to a piece of furniture. You engage your lats. Think about your lats helping you, okay? And then resist gravity on the way down. Good. Yeah. So whether you're going forward, I just cut my own head off on the screen, or to the side, it's up to you. Maybe you want to switch it, right? Boom. You know what this is good for? Yeah. Aside from just general hip health by finding like different rotational strengths, yeah, being able to get up and down off the ground. We got one more each direction. Right? Yeah, stretch a hip flexor. Yeah. Right. And then to the side if you're doing it. Good. The side one is really tricky. And down. Good. Now let's just sit on our hips for a second. We're going to bring your hands behind us, nice wide feet. Let your knees windshield wiper to one side. Bring it back. Let them windshield wiper to the other. Back and forth. Only go into a range that feels appropriate for you and your body. Now, we're going to try being more upright. And then if it's appropriate, hip hinge forward, trying not to round your back. Bring it up, other side. So we're just getting a little bit more movement here. If that does not feel great for you and your body, stick with a range that does feel okay. And maybe you just rotate. This is, I would just rotate more towards that front. See how that feels. Yeah. Okay. Well, you're welcome to do that. And just see how much control you have. We have one more back and forth. Letting that internal and external rotation move freely and without restriction, right? If it does not feel great, don't go into that range. Good. And then come back to center. We're going to come onto our knees for a second. And when we come into that like kneeling position, if your hips are behind you, I really need you to squeeze them forward. So see where your ribs are, where your hips are, then extend your arms overhead. If your butt goes back or your ribs pop, think about your ribs being down, open your armpits. Good. So Suze, I want you to try here. Just try hips back. Now, yeah, that's a better position for your arms. So if here you're having trouble getting there, come back, see if that is easier, okay? We're gonna use our weights. Now, if arms overhead in either position is not working for you, do it without your weight, okay? When we lift, I'm okay with your shoulders eventually lifting towards your ears because we have to be able to rotate our top rib upwards. However, if we start there, that's the upper trap trying to do too much. So we're trying to find deltoid and a little supraspinatus. So hands here, if they're out wide, bring them slightly forward. Good, elbows slightly forward. Put arms down. Yeah, there you go. Good, inhale, exhale, push the arms overhead. Now slowly resist gravity on the way down. Now, if that felt fine, and you would like, you can always come upright, squeezing those glutes, and slowly come down. Now, keep your ribs in. Resist, 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 resist. Now, if arms overhead is too intense, up high, you can press back and then squeeze your glutes forward as you lower. In that case, you are also using your glutes a little bit more for that forward motion. Make sure you are not letting the hip bones come forward more than the pubic bone. Your bottom glute is leading the charge. Close your ribs for me a little bit more. Yeah, good. That's more ab, your lat should be more connected then. 2 more. Good. Last one. Stephanie, you can lift your arms a little bit more at the end range. Yeah, straighten those elbows. Yeah, and then come all the way down. Great, we're going to get some triceps. So elbows will be forward. If for any reason your elbow is like, I don't want to be forward, no matter what I do. Instead, you're going to be on the ground. I will show you. Now, hands I like to have together, pushing overhead. Use your hand to guide your other hand. Squeeze that tricep at the end. Now, if you would like more work, going to be in this position. Doesn't seem like it should be more work, but it is. Closing those ribs, pushing into the ground. And then if you're in that position, you're going to switch. If this upright position is not great for your shoulders, you will be supine, right? So you will lie down, you'll let your arm bones be heavy with those hands to the sky. And then you just bend your elbows down, squeeze, hold. We have 2 more. Last one. Good, go ahead. Set your weights to the ground. We're going to come onto our back. We're going to use the ball. We're going to get our abs a little. Feeling good? You guys excited? Good. Did you say no? Oh, good. So if you don't have a ball, you can use a pillow, just fold it a couple times. Hands behind your head. Let's actually find a little bit of thoracic extension just before we start with those abs. Just let from your ribs to your collarbones extend. Now holding that, bring your shoulder blades down your back a little. Widen your elbows for me without letting them internally rotate. And just squeeze the prop with your shoulder blades. And then widen your shoulder blades. Draw your shoulder blades down and together a little baby bit. And then widen. 2 more. And then keep your elbows in your periphery. Inhale. Exhale, ribs down toward your belly button. Curl forward, try to push the ball away from you. Good. Now, you might find that you want to be closer. You might find you want to be farther away. It's up to you. Hands come forward. Push them into your imaginary surface. Now feel how you kind of lifted a little bit of your weight off the ball. Keep it that way as you bend your elbows back. Try not to let your ears come forward and then forward. Lift your ears to the sky. Just your ears, not your eyes. Look towards your knees. There. Yeah. Good. How's that feeling, everybody? So good? Abs kicking on? Good. As you come forward, push into that imaginary surface. Then try to tuck your tailbone just a little baby bit. Yeah. Good. And then keep your collarbones wide. Yeah. It's way more work than it should be, huh? Good. 2. Oh, feet down. And hold. rotate, hands, extend. Now, without curling forward, we're going to sink those ribs down, come into neutral. So sink the ribs down, keep the ears in line so they're lifting. And then on your exhale, without changing the shape of your spine, take half a pound of weight off the ball. So we're not lifting our ears forward, we're not putting more weight on the ball, we're just holding. So look at your knees more, there, and then relax. So it's tempting to be like, I'm taking weight off the ball and try to roll forward. This time, we're not arching, keep neutral. So your abs are already active. Pull your ribs towards your belly button. Sink your low abs down. That's already active. That's your rest position here, okay? Then all of a sudden, inhale, exhale, try to take half a pound of weight off of the ball. That's it, half a pound. Feel how your abs have to kick on more? And then don't let your spine change shape. We're not resting, we're just finding that neutral again. Exhale, take half a pound of weight. That's it. Good. Put just half a pound of weight back on. Don't let the back arch. Good. Elbows can be in your peripheries. Yeah. Last two. Good. Last one. Now keep that engagement. Keep your ribs drawing towards your belly button, everybody, and just slowly arch over the ball, resisting gravity. Don't let them go. Now at the end, you can relax everything, but then engage the abs again. Curl forward, float one leg towards your face. Yeah, set it down, keep those abs active, 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 active. Relax, re-engage, curl, float your other leg towards your face. Now, if your hip flexors are like, but why? I already worked. Think about that thigh bone sinking down. Curl from your abs more than your leg. Okay. The leg floats because your abs are telling it to. Your other leg wants to float, but you're having to push it down. Good. How are you guys feeling? Abtastic? Good, I'll take that as a yes. We have just a few more here. Good. And if you want more work, get closer to the ball. Make sure that you are really sinking the ribs down in order to get that lift. Two more. Nod your chin, hollow up. Last one. Good, both feet down, extend. Now, you can always get rid of the prop if you want. Otherwise, we're going to extend one leg out, curl forward, rotate towards that knee. Hold, hold, push the knee and elbow into each other if you can. And then extend, same side. Slide it in, hold, curl, curl, and then slowly extend. Curl and reach. Really press, really sink your ribs back and down. Last one, last one. Hold. Guess what, other side. Good. And we curl, we rotate, and we hold. And then extend. Now, everybody's proportions are different, so maybe it's easy for you to get your knee and elbow together. Maybe it's not. If it's not, you can always use your hand, okay? But we're trying to find that innervation where muscles around surrounding joints activate to help deepen the work. So if you have to use your hand, it's fine. Otherwise, knee to elbow. Your obliques should work harder there, yeah? Especially if you're curling the ribs. Last one. We're gonna hold, 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 extend, extend both legs. Now, sink your ribs down, curl forward and up. take the prop, move it to the side. Hands come forward, shoulders draw down. We're going to roll all the way down, curl, allow those armpits to open. And as we roll up, we're going to fold over our ribs. Now, if for any reason you have a tendency to use your hip flexors or your ribs pop or your spine is just sticky, you can always bend your knees. You can always use a prop underneath you, but do not fling. We want to keep it controlled. So 3 slow counts up. As soon as you lift your chest, 3, 2, 1. And then like 5 counts down if you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then once your chest lifts, it's 3 counts up. 3, 2, 1. Good. Now, same thing, but if you're ready, you're just going to add rotation. So you just rotate to one side. And then roll down, same side. Yeah, and then rotate to the other side. And then try to roll down that same side. It's so much harder, huh? Come up through center as we rotate. Good. And then roll down through that side so that oblique has to do more. Good. Roll it down. We're going to do 1 more each side. You guys are amazing. And just notice if one side feels different than the other. That's normal. And roll down. Come all the way up through. We're going to come onto our knees. Bring 1 foot forward and shift your weight back behind your knee a tiny bit. Tuck your tailbone for me. See if you can feel a little bit of stretch through the front of your thigh. Now this leg, you're going to drag yourself forward, keep the shortening. So I need you to close your ribs more. Yeah, so because we're taking our insertion and origin points away from each other. Good. Now, press your foot down into the floor. So your back foot for 5. Everybody feel that quad lighting up? 4, 3, 2, big inhale. Big exhale, just stop the press, squeeze your butt. Maybe you come forward a little bit more. Still trying to keep the ribs connected. Now, we pay attention to this knee. Press it down and forward as if we're trying to come into hip flexion. If we are here, we're actually shortening the distance between our origin and insertion points. So fold over your ribs a little bit and then squeeze your buns. See if you can get a little bit more range. Good. Now, think about pulling yourself out of that and then bring yourself back into it. 1 count, 2 count, pull yourself out. Make sure that you're keeping this kind of same position of your spine, right? Our body tends to want to reorient itself upright. So a lot of times that means that we pop our ribs or we tilt our pelvis. Last one. And we hold and rotate towards that front side and back. Rotate again. 3, 2 more. Last one. Guess what? Other side. We did so much extra hip flexion work today. A little hip flexor stretch at the end. So tuck here. Think about your underbutt helps squeezing you forward. And just go to your first point of resistance. Then press that foot down. For 5, 4, 3, 2, inhale, exhale, stop pushing, squeeze the butt. Now, back knee, push down and forward. We're gonna hold. So we're stimulating different receptors within our body to tell our nervous system to kind of relax a little. So stop pressing and then squeeze that glute. Good. And then pull yourself out of it and then bring yourself into it. So we're using several different mechanisms. 2 more. Last one, hold, and we rotate towards that front leg, right? Yeah. 3, 2, last one. Bring your knees together and just kind of see if you have a little bit more ease in that upright position. We're gonna roll it down, hands come down, tuck toes under, press your hips up. And walk your feet towards your hands this time. Go ahead, dangle, press into your feet, roll yourselves all the way up. Flip your palms, open your heart to the sky. And then come back to center. Nice job, you guys. Thank you for joining me. Give yourselves a round of applause. Awesome job. I know we did some different stuff today. How does everybody feel?